The Academy of Interstellar Diplomacy had always been a place of discipline and silence, where questions were measured and curiosity carefully restrained. Yet today, something shifted. Lero, a young cadet with glimmering cerulean eyes, could feel the weight of every gaze upon him as he stepped forward. His heart hammered against his chest, but the question had grown too heavy to contain. "Why are we not allowed to touch humans?" The words escaped before he could stop them. A stunned hush fell over the hall. Senior cadets froze mid-motion, textbooks hovering in mid-air, their mouths open in shock. The instructors, statuesque and calm until now, exchanged brief glances and said nothing. Even the hum of the hovering lights seemed to pause, as if the very academy itself had caught its breath. Lero's voice trembled, yet there was a determination in his tone that could not be ignored. Finally, one of the oldest instructors, a luminescent being named Varus, stepped forward. His voice, deep and measured, carried both caution and reverence. "Some questions," he said, "are forbidden because the truth is dangerous. But perhaps today it is time you learn it." The ancient holographic archive flickered to life, bathing the chamber in a soft blue glow, revealing stories of humans from centuries past. Stories no alien had ever spoken aloud. The holographic archive hummed softly, and Lero's eyes widened as the first images appeared. 2 centuries ago, a human soldier had been gravely injured during a border skirmish. An alien researcher, curious and compassionate, had attempted to examine him directly, to understand the human body up close. The moment his fingers touched the soldier's skin, everything changed. A sudden surge of energy erupted from the human, invisible yet palpable, radiating in waves that threw everyone in the room off balance. Alarms screamed, consoles sparked, and the walls shivered as the soldier instinctively defended himself. The researcher barely held onto consciousness as raw survival instincts overwhelmed reason. What should have been a simple examination became chaos. Equipment destroyed, colleagues injured, the laboratory in ruins. The incident became known across the galaxy as the Surge, a terrifying reminder of human unpredictability when physically provoked. From that day onward, every interstellar council and alien academy passed the same decree: no alien may touch a human, not for study, not for diplomacy, not even in aid or comfort. The law was absolute, unyielding, and enforced with the gravest consequences. Lero stared at the flickering holograms, heart pounding. The humans hadn't been cruel. They hadn't attacked. Years later, Lero found himself standing on the observation deck of the docking bay, heart racing as the first human ambassador to their world disembarked. Ambassador Riley Holt moved with quiet confidence, her presence calm yet commanding. Lero had studied humans extensively, read every record, memorized every warning, but nothing prepared him for the reality of being near one. The forbidden rule weighed on him like gravity, every instinct shouting to keep a careful distance. Assigned as her guide, Lero tried to maintain professional composure, keeping his hands carefully at his sides, his gaze polite but distant. Riley's eyes met his briefly, curious and steady, as though she could sense the silent tension that surrounded him. The alien cadet's thoughts raced with the centuries-old warnings he had studied. Humans could react unpredictably, dangerously when touched. Yet seeing her here, unharmed and serene, challenged everything he thought he knew. Then disaster struck. A crate of supplies toppled from a hovering transport, spinning violently toward them. Without thinking, Lero lunged forward, throwing himself between the debris and Riley. Their arms brushed in the instant of impact. Time seemed to freeze. Lero held his breath, expecting a catastrophic reaction, but nothing happened. Riley steadied herself, unhurt, and gave him a small, reassuring smile. In that moment, Lero realized that what the archives taught him might not apply to every human, and that some truths had yet to be discovered. After the docking bay incident, the council summoned Lero to explain what had happened. He recounted every detail, his voice steady despite the tension in the chamber. Every eye in the room, from elders to instructors, was fixed on him. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the assembly. No human had ever survived contact without triggering the surge. Riley stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. Calmly, she explained what the archives had never recorded. The original human soldier had been subjected to extreme stress, pain, and fear. The surge had not been a natural defense. It had been a reaction to trauma, a desperate explosion of survival instincts. In ordinary circumstances, humans were not dangerous to touch. The law, she revealed, had been intended to prevent aliens from misinterpreting that raw response and endangering themselves or humans further. The council listened in stunned silence as Riley continued, clarifying that human resilience, empathy, and intelligence made them far more adaptable than the legends suggested. Lero felt a surge of relief and pride. The fear that had shadowed his entire species' understanding of humans was finally being corrected. By the end of the day, the ancient decree was revised. Lero had bridged a centuries-old misunderstanding, showing that humanity's power was not just in survival, it was in the trust they could inspire. The galaxy had learned a new truth. Humans were not to be feared blindly, but respected for their strength, wisdom, and heart.